Alarm bells have been ringing from environmental authorities over the likelihood of flooding from this year's heavy rainfalls. They are urging citizens to evacuate from floodplains and for public agencies to redouble their efforts in forestalling the disaster before it occurs. In this context, the National Emergency Management Agency has put a lot of states in the north on alert as the water levels of the River Niger rise menacingly upstream in the Republic of Benin. 3 states, Kebbi, Niger, and Kwara, have been identified to be at high risk because of their proximity to the Republic of Benin. Despite this, 9 other states and 25 locations are also in the vulnerability loop. The continuous rise of the water levels of the river will invariably result in the overflow of its banks and the submersion of coastal communities. In its wake would be mass deaths and the destruction of houses alongside other invaluable property. Joining us to discuss the looming danger of imminent flooding and what needs to be done is AVM Kenneth, Iyamu, retired, an environmental expert. Good morning and welcome to the morning show, AVM Iyamu.
Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Dr. Ruben Abati. And good morning, indefatigable Rufai. How are you?
Morning, sir. Bless you, sir. Fine, sir.
Well, AVM, thank you very much for joining us. Well, Now this problem of flooding is perennial. You see that we hear that Lagdo Dam is releasing water from Cameroon, and the lower plains in Nigeria get flooded because Nigeria has failed to play its own part. Or is the meteorological agencies informing us that, look, there'll be flooding in every year, almost about 25, 21 states. The River Niger basin and the Benue Trough, you know, every year they do it, they tell us. Or it will be the River Basin Development Authorities also warning the people that there will be flooding. But every year is the same story, the same tragedy, the same inaction on the part of the people who will refuse to listen to advice that they should, you know, relocate to upper plains, on the part of government that will never play its own part to protect the people. Now, what do we need to do? Because this story is too familiar. Every year we come here and wring hands, and experts will come and lament. What do we need to do? That's my question.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Abati. You see, a nation as a priority must identify reality. When you don't identify reality, you attract destruction. Well, the global warming and flooding is a universal phenomenon. So the universality all depends on the way you are doing everything you want to do. There is nothing like, I want to do it my own way. No. There's no one way of doing anything, but there are few bad ways of doing it. And when you restrict dealing with environmental issue to one option, that ill-conceived policy come at a cost. Because the mistake, the unpreparedness, and everything will be borne by these already burdened citizens of Nigeria who are already there. There were 151 extreme weather conditions in 2024. And our own dear Meduguri incident featured prominently. Now, you see, the universality of anything should be creating a momentum of action now. It is not prediction. And not flood that look, well, okay, it's a step in the right direction, just part of it. No, we have gone past there. We have gone past there. Now, you see, like World Economic Forum was warning us today, it has become an economic problem that you need to quickly index it. Because you mentioned a Lago Dam. If we go there, we have 340 dams in Nigeria, and there are 117 million of them in the world. See, we must manage this flooding here very, very optimally, because dams help you to manage flooding. And the way we are now, we have so many of these dams as agricultural dams, which are not really of great use anyway. As we expect the Lago Dam release, which is going to be released, because the phenomenon now, last year we're talking of supercharged rain and everything. Now we are talking of cloud bursts. Cloud bursts. Now, Nigeria is now in the category of India, China, the US, and Colombia in terms of extreme weather. And what does that mean? Our dams will be threatened, and we are going to have more of disaster coming our own way. As for preparation, no, we are too routine and basic in our preparation. Let me see. Last year, for the last 2 years, policies must be very stable, must be very stable to be able to have the desired effect. Since 2023, we have had three Director Generals of National Climate Change Commission. 3 Director Generals. For God's sake, how do you want people to take us seriously like that? So the agencies that are there now have a lot on their table. They have a lot on their table in terms of preparation. Now, the cloud burst now is coming around here because you are having the low pressure wind between the western part of Africa and Cape Verde now. And that is very consequential. What is this? The state you just mentioned, Taraba, Adamawa, and all, they are all full of mountains. And this cloud burst, they are being influenced by mountains. What is a cloud burst? Cloud burst is where you have rain, that 5 inches of rain falling in 1 hour. Now, it becomes very, very dangerous when it exceeds that 5 inches of rain, which is where we have gotten to in most part of Nigeria. So we need to be prepared.
All right, thank you. So as part of this preparation, I recall that in 2023, the federal government had unfolded a national strategic plan for flood management in Nigeria, and this was following the 2022 devastating floods that took place. Now, following that, other interventions are the National Strategic Plan for Flood Prevention and Management, which was launched by the now Vice President Kashim Shettima. I'd like you to evaluate some of these interventions, because we often talk about being reactionary, but these funds, these plans were put in place to be more proactive. Has this worked? What has happened to these interventions that were put in place by the federal government?
Before we go to the intervention, let's look at the sense of, let's enrich this discussion with a sense of history and context. You see the Ecological Fund, around 1982 when it came, reviewed 92 or thereabout. Now, from 1% to 2%. This is quite a lot of money that should be deployed in addressing this critical aspect of our lives. Don't forget, the universality of flooding is no longer restricted to any country. It is now, it is indexing the momentum of economy, it is indexing the momentum of security, it is indexing the momentum of diseases, and it is also indexing the momentum of social, because if you don't do that, the social life of the people is disrupted. Now, how does he affect them? You see, we are building IDP camps. The same flooding and all happened in Baltimore. The first problem of us addressing flooding, which we are yet to address, is the Constitution. Section 20 donated that power of dealing with flooding to the federal government. But if you see elsewhere, it's in the first schedule. It's in the local government. In Baltimore, when there was flooding, it was the state that was pronouncing emergency operations center. They created a state-sponsored tent, state-sponsored facilities that the people were going to move into. Look at the case of Mokwa.
Okay.
It is, see, documents are very good.
Okay.
They are very, very, let me just land on this, Rufai.
Yeah.
Documents are very good, they are very sweet, but it is the operationalization. In Mokwa, you gave them, if that document was enforced, how was it? Mokwa should have been the first place for it to have been applied. There you went, gave them 2 billion. What is 2 billion to 3,000 people? What do you get from there?
Okay, real quickly.
If you discount corruption and discount what they will not need, after that, 2 billion become very, very consequential. Yes.
Out of all the dams we have in Nigeria, what's the assessment of the dams, the level? Which dams do you think are about to go burst? Which dams are in good condition or semi-good condition? Can you just give us a percentage assessment, please, quickly as we wrap up?
Rufai, I think you should. I think that question should be best answered by the Minister of Water Resources. But what I just know is that, look, there is a universality, like I told you, in managing dam. You see, dam is created for you to solve your electricity problem, to solve your agricultural problem, to solve your social problem, and everything. And it has to be controlled.
You see, I will take it like that. Your laugh is very pregnant as regards the state of dam in the country. Thank you so much, Avian. Really appreciate you.